Okay, this video is about liberal tolerance, or should I say intolerance. It's one of the reasons why recently I've been avoiding getting involved in political debates. You see, at one point I was a pretty liberal fellow. And I did it largely because liberal women were easier to access than you could get close to than conservative women. They let you get away with a whole lot more than a conservative woman would. And when I was young and interested in such things and pretty amoral, that appealed to me. So I found that it was a crowd I would hang out in because, well, you know, better luck with the ladies. Now, since then, when I became married and I gave up all that liberal stuff and the progressive stuff, a lot of my old friends couldn't deal. They would insult me, and if I did what I normally do, which would be to turn it around, rephrase it, and throw the question right back at them, the statement right back at them, then all of a sudden it was totally insensitive, and how dare you say this about me, but just a few minutes ago you said that about me. Well, that was okay, that was different, but you're being insulting to me somehow. This kind of double standard. I can insult you, but you can't insult me. And I ran into that a lot in their community, in my old friends. And they would get upset, they would disconnect from me, they would get angry at me, and their friends would of course parrot their positions and be supportive of them and whatnot. So I lost a lot of old friends when I became married and gave up the socials and the liberal stuff and all this other things. But then I got into genealogy, and I wanted to connect with old family members, people I haven't heard of, old cousins that I knew of when I was a kid but I haven't talked to in 20 years, whatever. I wanted to reconnect with them. You know, even though there had been family schisms, I thought I could avoid that. So I talked to a number of them, made contact with a number of them, and one of them I discovered was actually I discovered a number of them were pretty far leftist individuals. And their Facebook was chock full of political statements on the political left, which of course, me being conservative, kind of egged me on to respond. So it's sort of like, okay, well, fine, I'll respond. And I responded to their issues, and they get upset at me. And no matter how offensive their post was, they would be angry at me for pointing out the flaws in it, or disagreeing with it, or whatever. And on one occasion, and this is pretty much the breaking point, one of my cousins who is a model, apparently, she has this thing for animals, and she's all this, you know, animals are people too, and that type of stuff, that kind of behavior. And she made a remark against the Tea Party. You know, that Tea Party are just terrible, horrible, racist, yucks, and such. And she's wrong, but that's what she's been told by the Daily Show and liberals and the Democrats and such, that the Tea Party is horrible. So the media's told her this, and she's bought this idea, and that they're violent and all this other stuff, which is of course lies, but traditional demonization. But she's bought into it committedly. So I remarked, you know, I'm one of those Tea Party people. I guess you're gonna just have to hate me. And she immediately disconnected from me. She immediately defriended me, wouldn't talk to me ever again, because I'm a part of the terrible, horrible, yuck Tea Party. Now here's the thing. I tolerated her stuff, but she would not tolerate me because I was a member of the Tea Party. So like, come on. And I tolerated her videos about wolves and liberal causes and whatnot, and she claimed to dislike Obama, but I guarantee you she voted for him, and I guarantee you she'll vote for him again. But anyways, so I had that happen. And I thought, you know, I have these other relatives I'm trying to connect with. And I'm getting the impression that the left is not very tolerant of those who disagree with them. So I think I'm just not going to bring up politics in the Facebook. I'm just not going to. It's just not worth it. I'll do it in private. I'll do it on LiveJournal, but I'm not going to talk about it in Facebook. I'm going to pretend it doesn't exist, just so I can keep contact with these long-lost cousins. I don't mind losing friends, but losing relatives kind of bothers me in a strange sort of way. So, anyways, it has been my experience from this that liberals don't have a lot of tolerance. As much as they like to talk about tolerance, they don't really have any tolerance. They tolerate people as long as they think like they do and agree with their ideas or agree with them in being in power. And that's pretty much why I've stopped getting into debates with them, because there's really no way changing there's no way to change their minds. They're not listening. They're just not. They are not interested in listening. Most of them are just interested in yelling at you, calling you names, and in some cases getting physically abusive towards you, especially when some of these are protesters, like the Occupy Wall Street group and such. It's just the way they are. And I just don't think the political atmosphere in the United States is such that you can actually have a civil discussion anymore. You get these yelling matches on news stations and such. I honestly believe if it ever broke down to a civil war, there's a lot of hatred on both sides, and I think there can be killing coming from it. But anyways, there you have it. You have yourself a good day. God bless. And just letting you know, this might affect how many videos I produce in the future, because what's the point? I'm not going to penetrate the skulls of those who disagree with you. Anyways, have yourself a good day. God bless.